are at a crisis moment in America. We are not talking to each other. There's a sense that our communities are crashing into each other and that we do not have a shared life. Enter the Policy Fellows. Here is a program that with great intent recruits from these different parts of our community that almost never interact. And so when the Policy Fellows come together, the first day is almost one of shock, looking around and hearing people talk about values and priorities that are almost completely foreign to them.
It's amazing how well we could work together to kind of tackle and discuss some of Minnesota's most challenging problems. And I was really encouraged to see what that meant to me as a military leader and taking that back to my work today.
Through the Humphrey Fellowship, I learned that my voice matters. I also learned how to use my voice powerfully and strategically. One of the most powerful moments for me was going to Washington, D.C. I remember sitting in the White House and thinking to myself, wow, I am the first person in my family to have this experience. Wow, I am in a room where historically I was not allowed to be in. For me, that was an aha moment, a turning point, and where I realized that my true passion was really centered around being this change maker.
One of the unique features of the Policy Fellows is that they define a topic. And they do this as a group. So we have 6 or 8 projects going on each year, and they address core problems that businesses are dealing with, or our public sector is dealing with, or our community.
Annie Levinson Falk and I were sitting having burgers, and we were frustrated by the same conversation happening every year. Everyone kept saying we needed more racial diversity in policy spaces, but nothing was really changing. So we decided to create a one-day job shadowing program for Native and POC college students. When Annie and I joined the Humphrey Institute as part of the same cohort, we thought, why stop at one day? We made Capital Pathways our project, and the magic happened because we worked across every difference you can imagine. Personally, this project taught me that the most powerful changes often start with the simplest question: what if we actually did something?
I was able to get to know more about my senators and my representatives and how government works. I was able to write a bill and testify in 2022 for a bill that I wrote, and it passed, and I was like amazed because I never done that before, and it was for arts programming in the DOC, the Department of Corrections. I'm excited about that. I'm really motivated about it. I continue to do more bills.
The year was 2011, and my group was worried about political polarization. To address that problem, we ended up deciding to work to reinstate what had been called the Minnesota State Office of Dispute Resolution. And by some combination of hard work and the stars aligning, the renamed Office for Collaboration and Dispute Resolution was created and funded in the next legislative session.
I was involved in a project on gun safety, which we knew at the time was a pretty hot button issue. We very quickly learned that 80% of gun deaths in Minnesota are suicides. And we thought that perhaps this would be a place where we could find some agreement. We decided that the best thing to do would be to run a survey of various constituents, gun owners, gun shop owners, people who run gun shows, etc., to find out what the willingness was to talk about suicide by gun and what can be done about it. And what we learned is that actually, there's some resistance, there's some lack of trust within certain groups, but for the most part, people were really interested in learning more about how to prevent suicides.
I am so pleased to see so many organizations and individuals who are involved in the Policy Fellows year after year. To me, that is a sign of power and of impact and of relevance. One of the most striking features of that are the number of individuals, alumni, who come back as advisors to groups or to presenters to the policy fellows. They understand what the program is about.
I had the opportunity to come back and be invited as to be part of a selection committee, which I have done multiple times. I did it this year again, and it is a wonderful experience because we get to see, so many talented folks from the region that apply, but it hasn't stopped there. But then, I've had the opportunity to be invited to join the guest faculty team as an adjunct professor of leadership and management. They just are so passionate about, topics around civic leadership that these conversations are just, they're fire, right?
Year after year, having National Guard members participate in this fellowship creates ripple effects, bringing not only new ideas, but new energy, broader networks, and the kind of adaptive leadership we need in today's rapidly changing world. So if you're a leader in government, business, or the nonprofit space, and wondering if this investment is worth it, I can say without hesitation, yes. The Humphrey Policy Fellowship doesn't just build leaders, it builds bridges.
Before the fellowship, I might have stayed quiet in a room full of senior leaders. But I've learned how to take a seat at the table and not just to identify the problem, but to deliver, implement, and develop groundbreaking solutions.
This is really an opportunity to step into the future of our country. And that is really the working ground of so many businesses and nonprofits. How do we remain relevant? How do we contribute to the future of our state and our country? And this is what the Policy Fellows is all about.
I would suggest anyone else to jump on this ship of learning and movement. And don't be scared, and just come on board. Come with me, and let's do some policy work.